and converted to a forward. Many of you might not know that about Wendel Clark. Initially, he was a defenseman, man. All rookie team, finished third in voting for the Calder Trophy. Millions of hits on his YouTube videos, man. I know everybody out there has been out there checking out Wendel Clark's YouTube videos, man. 15 years in the NHL, man. One of the most prolific left wingers for the Toronto Maple Leafs. One of the best captains ever. And we've got him on line 301, man. I'm going to get to Wendel Clark right now, man. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
How you doing, sir?
Very good.
How's the restaurant going? You're over at the restaurant tonight.
I'm just heading over to the restaurant right now.
Ah, beautiful, man. Wendel Clark's. I took a look at it, wendelclarks.com. I checked out the website and stuff. The place looks beautiful, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's going all right, and the new one opening February 1st in Oakville.
And you got another one opening in Oakville, because this one says it's AMC Plaza in Vaughan, but opening another one in Oakville, man. I'm hoping to get out there. I'll come check out the restaurant. Good eats. I checked out the menu and stuff like that. Buddy, you had 793 games, 330 goals, 234 assists, 564 points, 1,690 penalty minutes, and one concussed goalie. That was Cujo for St. Louis when you hit him in the mask and he dropped. But you've just had an amazing career, and the Toronto media, everybody in Toronto loves you. A lot of the people all around the world love you in the hockey world. And, you know, you were that guy on the team that took care of things when you had to. It wasn't necessarily your role, but you took it. You took it when it came to you. And in your rookie year even, you fought Craig Berube, Bob Probert, Dave Brown, Cam Neely, Tocchet, Tenorti, Garth Butcher, Marty McSorley. The list goes on. John Kordick, Brad McCrin. These guys were tough. There was no instigator rule back then. And a lot of things right now are, you know, they're not good for these players. They're taking a lot of these cheap shots, like Patrice Cormier recently, another one in the Islanders recently, Andy Sutton from behind. What's got to be done about this? How do players gain respect from each other again?
It's hard to say. It's the game is speeded up so fast right now, and it starts from a young age. I just finished helping coach the GTHL 1500, midget bantam draft, and those kids are playing the game at such a speed, and we changed the rules a couple of years, 5 years ago or whenever it was, to no hooking and holding up, and by that we speeded up the game. So our collisions now are faster, and the kids are bigger.
All that faster. I watched actually I think it was 1977. It was Toronto Maple Leafs against the Islanders, and the hooking, holding, grabbing, and everything. And it was still great hockey, because when you broke away from that, you really had to catch up to speed. And like you said, things are moving a hell of a lot faster out there for these kids. And also, when I started playing hockey when I was 5 years old, you started with contact. Now the kids don't have contact until, what are they, 10 or 11 now?
11 years old, yeah.
Yeah, they don't start with contact. Do you think that's hindering the game for these kids, and maybe their heads are down a little more because they're not used to that contact from an early age?
No, I don't think it's as much about that as kids today are dressed like gladiators. They have the shoulder pads and elbow pads and helmets and masks, and they feel invincible. And when you're 7, 8, 9, 10, you don't really get hurt that often, because you bend and you're young and you don't hit that hard. But as you get older and you're wearing the same equipment and you still feel fearless, then when you have contact, when you get older, 19 through the rest of your life, the collisions are hard.
Speaking about a 19-year-old, man, Patrice Cormier, I'm sure you've seen the hit on Michael Tam, and he came out to the media yesterday and was talking. Obviously, he's gotten out of the hospital, had his teeth knocked out. It was a terrible elbow. A lot of the guys that are on Patrice Cormier's team from Team Canada and on his old team said he's a great guy, and he obviously, he's not really out to hit people. But, he did that in the World Juniors this year against the Swedish kid and against another Finnish kid. How do we kind of take this out of the game? Because there's nowhere in the game for that kind of violence. I mean, if you're going to drop the gloves, by all means, drop the gloves and get to it. But those cheap type of elbows, how do we get rid of that stuff for like the younger kids watching it, and for the guys in the workplace that are professionals?
Well, they have to go about suspending the guys, and that's really the only thing that's left. to do is make harsh suspensions. It's a mistake that he made. And he probably is a great guy. He was picked the captain for the team for the World Juniors, and he plays very hard. He plays on the edge, and he just got a little bit reckless, and it doesn't make him a terribly bad person. It just he's going to have to pay for what he did for a certain amount of time. We'll find out down the road here, and then come back and hopefully clean up his play and still play the same aggressive way, but a little more within the rules.
I have a partner in crime who's usually with me here on the show and stuff, but he couldn't make it down today. But he had a question for you about, and I mean, geez, like the list of guys that you've dropped the gloves with and stuff. And I'm sure you get this question from everybody: who was the toughest guy that you ever fought? And I mean, I know you had battles with Kordic, you had battles with so many different guys. Who's the toughest guy you ever dropped the gloves with, man?
I don't think there ever is a toughest. Every year and every time you're playing against a different team, there's always somebody else, and in any given night, they're going to get the upper hand on you. So it's not really toughest because they're all in that realm. The Kordics and from the Kordics to the Ben Wilsons to the Bob Proberts and Dave Browns and Joey Koshers, they're all in there. But the meanest player I probably played against ever, and I kind of categorize it that way as the meanest player, was Ben Wilson in Chicago.
Wow, Ben Wilson in Chicago, meanest player. Ritter there, I got that in for you, buddy. Jeez, man, I've been watching a lot of hockey all my life, and so many people here in Toronto love you. When I told a bunch of people that you're going to be on the show today, they were just mind-blowing. Tell me a little bit more about your restaurant, what you're doing there, what you got going on, man.
Well, we started the first one in Vaughan, Entertainment Central. It's the sports bar restaurant. It's a little higher-end sports bar, TVs and catch the games, and it's part of a group of entities called Entertainment Central. And with that, there's a Yuck Yucks, a dueling pianos, and a nightclub. And so we took that and opened it in Vaughan, and now we're opening another one in Oakville, February 1st. The sports bar opens, and the nightclub's opening a couple days before that, and Yuck Yucks a day before as well. So it's kind of all the entities are hopefully feeding off each other a little bit, but wait and see, and hopefully we get some sports teams winning, so the sports bar does well.
Indeed, man. It's a whirlwind, I'm sure, for you. A buddy of mine used to be a bouncer. He worked at the Chicken Deli, and you and Dave Ellett used to kind of pass by there and over to that bar called Dale's, not too far from the Chicken Deli, man. Did any of the restaurants that you used to go to, like those, kind of inspire you in any way in your menus or in your design of the places?
I don't know. Enough over time. I've spent a bit of time in all kinds of establishments, so it's you get some ideas, and I'm with a great group of guys that are in the business, and they know how it works and how to do it, and then they're doing it for the right reasons and not just for having fun. It's for the right reasons with all the investors.
Can I ask you, this is a kind of a bit of an interesting question for a lot of viewers and stuff, but when initially you were let go from Toronto the first time, man, who let you know, and how did that feel like? How did you sleep that night? That was heartbreaking for us as fans because, man, we love you here in Toronto, and a lot of people, like I've mentioned, across Canada have always loved your spirit. You're 5'11", there, coming in at 200 pounds as a kid, and you were tough as nails. No one ever, will say anything about that. But how'd that feel that day when you knew you were getting traded from Toronto?
It was a weird one because cell phones weren't out or as prevalent then, so I had found out, I guess, later in the day. It was during the draft in the late morning, and I found out later in the day from Cliff Fletcher when I got home, and I actually found out first off by turning on the radio to see who he drafted, and that's when I had heard that I was traded.
Jeez, man. Well, just before you were re-signed, you were actually partying at the Madison House, man. I had a buddy of mine was there. There was a bit of a brawl because someone was, talking some stuff about Wendel Clark. My buddy said, listen, man, he's upstairs if you want to straighten it out. And then all of a sudden a little brouhaha ensued. And apparently he had asked you were the couple boys over there at the Madison. He said, hey, man, are you coming back to Toronto? And you kind of gave him a little raised eyebrow and stuff. And then tomorrow the announcement came through and stuff. And, a big surprise to Toronto. Everybody really happy. Tell me what it was like coming back.
No, it's very exciting coming back. It's one of the things that I played a lot of years in Toronto and love to play in Toronto, and so when you get a chance to come back, very honored and very happy to be back.
I got a whack of these old school Toronto. They sold them at McDonald's. They were a bunch of mass and stuff. I got Van Beesbrook, Belfour. I got a whack of other guys, and I'm sure you put the puck in on a lot of them, man. You were well known for your wrist shot and for your slap shot, and your hits and your fights and stuff. What would you have for for kids out there if they're listening? What kind of advice would you give them about how to get that great shot? Because you had that quick release, and a quick release in this game that you don't have the time because, like you said, the speed of the game is so much quicker now. You don't have that time, but getting off that quick snapshot or wrist shot is probably a much better than that big wind-up.
Well, it's the game's getting faster all the time, so you really have to be able to shoot the puck in flight. Today, when you get it, you got to get it off your stick quickly, and the only way to practice is just by shooting a lot of pucks. And anybody that you probably listened to or heard said they just shot a lot of pucks, and everybody's got a different style and a different technique, and there's no one perfect way, but repetition makes everything get better.
So this another little one. I'll give you one more question, man, and let you go. I know you're a busy man and stuff. A lot of people in Toronto still consider Harold Ballard the demise of the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. Obviously, you had a relationship with Harold Ballard there back in the days, him being the owner of the club and everything like that, and Maple Leaf Gardens back then. What did you think about Ballard? Because I've heard different stories about him. I've heard some people said he treated them like gold. I've heard other people say quite the opposite, obviously. What did you think of Harold Ballard and his decisions back then, man?
Well, I was there, and I started when I first met Harold. I was a young guy, 18 years old, so everything in my time frame, Harold treated me very well, and a lot of the young players that started with me very well. Sometimes all the right decisions maybe weren't being made for the hockey team to be the best they could be, but it wasn't, I think, on a personal level for as players towards the owner, and which Harold was, he treated us all players very well.
Hey, man, thank you so much for, I know you got a lot of busy stuff to do, and I really appreciate you joining me, man. I'm going to come out and check out the restaurant, come have a beer, man. Hopefully, I don't know if you get down to the NHL alumni box there in the ACC. I'm going to be there on Saturday, I think, with Pat Boutet, who's a good buddy of a friend of mine. And, I'm going to be checking out that Vancouver game. Maybe I'll catch you down at the game.
Well, I might see you down there.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Wendel Clark, man. Best captain ever on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Cheers. Ciao. Wow. Wendel Clark, man. That's one of the best captains ever. I'm sweating away in here, man. I know what Gabe's talking about when he's talking about sweating away in here. Wendel Clark, man. That was pretty sick, man. Going to go to a quick break, man, and be right back. We're going to get Ian Gooding, hopefully, on the phone at 6:32, talk about some fantasy picks there. I've got some breakdowns of the hockey game. We got Gabe Renzi joining us at 6:50 with some of his picks for tonight. And Gold's going to lay out the starting goaltenders, and he's going to lay out some of his starting picks there. This is a friend of mine, man, Sunny D, Red Sun. You check her out, man. Good stuff. Give you a little flow later, man. Be right back.
Leave a little room on the right for me. Traffic's slow and one lane is blocked, so you're looking to the shoulder for a parking spot. You didn't check your mirror and you cut me off. I know you want to kill me, but you really should not. So leave a little room on the right for me. Leave a little room on the right for me. Oh, no, leave a little room. Oh, leave a little. Let me give you some advice.